The accusers have now told their stories many times in police interviews, church proceedings, civil proceedings, and to friends and family. The defense, now led by attorneys Philip Cohen, Karen Goldstein, and Shawn Holley, is expected to try to expose discrepancies in those accounts and to argue that the allegations have evolved to become more violent and disturbing over time. Now, this is interesting. This is something that I just actually recently noticed. I don't know why this only dawned on me, but Shawn Holley is one of the attorneys for Danny Masterson. She's also an attorney for Trevor Bauer. And I know that a lot of times when people talk about, this attorney represented this client and like therefore they're a scumbag. I think that we need to remember that attorneys are professionals, and attorneys take cases not even necessarily because they 100% believe that someone is true or is, absolutely correct or absolutely incorrect. But because they think that they can do a good job, and because they think that they can fulfill or do their best job for what the client wants and needs at the time. I mean, if attorneys only represented people that were 100% clean, we wouldn't have anybody at the public defender's office, right? Because there are plenty of people that come through the public defender's office who are guilty as sin. And, the public defender's job is basically to make sure that, like, first and foremost, to make sure that the state, to make sure that the prosecutor doesn't overstep the defendant's constitutional rights. So there are so many different layers to goals in terms of representation in these cases, and so we don't know how Shawn Holley looks at these cases, but I will say, she represents Masterson. That's one SA defendant. She represents Trevor Bauer. That's another SA defendant that we've talked about on this channel. And that case is super interesting. We talked about some very conflicting evidence that has come out that raises a lot of questions about the alleged victims' allegations there. But Shawn Holley also, interestingly enough, represents Evan Rachel Wood, someone who has made deviant accusations against Marilyn Manson. So she's a very interesting character in all of these different cases, because she's obviously taking cases that are sometimes, in opposition to one another in terms of philosophy, because sometimes you'll have attorneys that take only defense cases. Sometimes you'll have attorneys that take only plaintiff cases. In all of these cases, Shawn Holley is on defense, right? Because this is the Evan Rachel Wood case is where Evan Rachel Wood is actually on defense there, right? Because Marilyn Manson has come out and said there's IIED, there's defamation coming up because she's made these allegations. But philosophically speaking, Shawn Holley has taken very different cases, right? Because some people feel very, very passionately about the Marilyn Manson case. And they might feel passionately about these other cases. So it's very interesting to point out that this attorney has taken some philosophically opposed kind of cases here. Just want to highlight that for folks.